Well, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the hashtag Celebrate Columbus show. My name is Josh Burnett, and I'm super excited to have the guest that we do in the Celebrate Columbus studio today. I've been watching him for a long time on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. He has been killing it in Columbus. I know you're going to be excited to hear from him today. If you know anything about Columbus, you know that we have a growing craft beer community here. We've got some amazing breweries. And then also just great brewers that are doing some huge things. And that's why today's conversation is so important. I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to our guest. His name is Anthony Blair, and he is a man of many things, and he's a great friend of mine. And I'm really excited to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, JB. Man, I'm happy to be here. This is great.
Well, we got a little bit of beer today. Let's go ahead and cheers it.
Yeah,
and,
cheers, of course.
We're not in the Bat Cave like usual at Zwanzig's, but we are going to be talking together about craft beer. I'll go ahead and take a swig. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, man, that's Super Nugget Brothers.
Super Nugget Brothers from, is that 450 North?
450 North. Yeah, man, 450 North is hot right now, and this was this was their biggest release. Happened over the holidays, so
awesome.
Yeah, it's a good beer.
Well, thank you very much for bringing it. So,
Absolutely.
For those, the 3 or 4 people that might not know you in Columbus, because you get around, a lot of people know you.
Yeah.
Tell us, who is Anthony Blair?
Oh man, that's like asking Bruce Wayne. who are you, Bruce Wayne? Nah, man. Born and raised in Flint, Michigan. Remember Flint, Michigan, water situation still happening. Don't forget about Flint. Born and raised in Flint, Michigan. Son of Tommy and Jackie Blair. Managed to make my way here from Muskegon, from Madison. Landed here in 2008, 2 weeks before the flood.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not fun, man.
Right.
That was not fun at all. But, persevered through that, like the whole community did, and started to discover more about Columbus and what it had to offer and some of the people. Met people like you, met a lot of people around here. So, like I say, been here 9 years, and, so far so good.
And you're involved in a lot of different community efforts. What are a couple of those?
Oh, sure, yeah. Leadership Bartholomew County, African American Fund, Commission on the Housing Authority Board. One of the things that's great about Columbus is the fact that if you want to get involved, you can get involved in some things. So I like that about Columbus. And so I stay busy doing those types of things, trying to make the community a better place for everybody, doing my part. That's the whole civic responsibility is, everybody chip in and do their part. So, I stay busy with that a lot, and that's a lot of fun, challenging sometimes, but it's all for the greater good, and that's what it's all about.
Very cool. I appreciate you letting people know a little bit about yourself and just how much you're trying to make Columbus a better place. Well, today we're going to be talking about craft picks.
Yes, sir.
And I'm really excited for a couple people, if they maybe haven't heard about craft picks. It is an awesome internet, web, social media show that talks about craft beer.
Yes.
So, for those who might not know a little bit about craft beer, before we get to craft picks, why is craft beer better and different than, your traditional beer, like light beer that you might get at the store?
Sure. I wouldn't almost say that it's better. It's different. It's definitely different. I hate to be the type of person who shoots on other people's beer, right?
Right.
There's people who in the craft beer community are kind of snobby, and they say, oh, well, if you drink Budweiser or Miller or Coors, it's swill. And I don't want to be that guy. Hey, beer's beer. In the scheme of things, what you may like, I may not like. So I don't want to be that guy. But what makes craft beer interesting now is the fact that it's small business. Small business, local. People super passionate about what they do. A lot of these people just started out in their garage or their basement home brewing,
right?
And just start killing it, and people start liking their beer, and so then they open up a brewery or a tap room, and people start coming, and it's community and this lively interchange with people enjoying beer.
Yeah.
The social lubricant. You know, so in craft beer, there's so many different flavors and varieties and styles. It's the diversity of craft beer makes it so great. It's the diversity.
And I think that's, you just touched on something that makes Columbus really a special place is, both diversity with its people, but also with its craft beer. I mean, for those who might not know, what are the breweries here in town that are internationally known?
Oh boy. Well, of course, Wanzig's, right? Mikey's doing.
Yeah, Mike Rabinski. Shout out to you, man.
Shout out to Mikey. Yeah, Mikey's doing real good work at Wanzig's. I mean, those bourbon barrel beers that he puts out, and the Scotch and the stouts, they're wonderful. They're great beers. Again, 450. They're putting it down. Upland. They're putting it down. Their distribution is becoming massive now. And we have a tap room right here in Columbus. CB, John, John.
John Myers.
Yeah, John Myers. He OG, just like Mike, OG in the game, been brewing forever.
Before craft beer was cool, John was doing it.
For sure. He was.
Powerhouse Brewing. I mean, I know, what's the beer that the Saraline Cream Ale?
Yeah.
That's always been my favorite.
Yeah, man, that's a solid cream ale. But some of the problem though with craft beer, or there's some opportunities that come along with craft beer. There's some of the older styles. So we're drinking, a double dry hop IPA, and that's the real hot thing right now. But a lot of people forget about these old school styles, these styles that were around before things got all hazy and juicy and all hopped up and everything. Just very simple, clean styles like Saraline, like a lager, like a Pilsner. Those beers are some of the forgotten beers,
right?
But created the foundation for some of the beers that we have today.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I appreciate bringing a little history to the
man.
show. And also in Columbus, we've got the Columbus Craft Beer Fest. Shout out to Elaine and all the group there. I mean, they do such a great job. I know that last year we got to be a part of that just in some ways, and they did an awesome job as well. So, for those, I appreciate you bringing kind of some context to what we're talking about.
Sure.
What is Craft Picks? Because I think people need to know about this.
Oh boy, well, Craft Picks is this brainchild, and we, you kind of know the story. We sat down and talked about it a little bit, but I was searching for something to do on social media. I've been doing the internet forever. Saw video becoming so much, embraced so much by people now, especially with smartphones, things like that. And I was looking for what is the thing that I could do, that I could be proficient at, that I could have fun doing. And I remember you saying, "Hey man, why don't you just do beer?" But beer, what are you talking about, beer? It's way more important stuff to talk about beer. But then I got to thinking about the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I was already traveling around the places, talking to people.
Every weekend you're going to breweries.
Oh my gosh, yes, man. I mean, it's just traveling around, and
Right.
and that's one of the things about craft beer is so cool too. Is there's so many opportunities to go places and see and experience new beers, meet new people. Is really great. So I said, well, maybe that could be a thing. Start doing craft beer reviews. That's the first thing I could do, and not have to get a big production crew or anything like that. So I set up a studio next to my office. Put soundproofing up and everything. Figured out in a hurry that things on YouTube aren't as easy to implement in real life.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's tough, man. Lighting, sound, all that stuff, just figuring all that out. So it went through that whole process and started to do the tasting show. And there's a difference in my mind between drinking beer and tasting beer.
Right.
So I said, hey, I can help people understand the different styles of beer and how to best enjoy them.
Right.
As far as I know, reading books and going to different events and things like that, learning the process, things like that. So, and that's how the show started, was doing the tasting shows. And one thing kind of led to another. People started watching it.
I told you they would.
You did too. You did too.
Well, it's because you're an interesting guy.
I
And,
appreciate that. Thank you. Man.
you know, I think you know a lot about beer, but you're also, you know, always trying to bring a positive kind of promotion to these different craft breweries that,
Yeah.
you know, don't always have the budgets to be advertising and promoting their great stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And so what better than a person that enjoys it to promote it to others and become that influencer that introduces beer to others? Because there's so many different types of beer, right?
Exactly. So many. So many. I mean, there's stouts and there's sours and there's porters and Berliners and IPAs and double IPAs and triple IPAs. I mean, it's the breadth is just unbelievable. And like I said, to be able to expose people who may be drinking a Bud or a Miller or Coors, and they look at what I'm drinking, they say, "Wow, that sounds interesting.
Right.
Maybe I want to try that." And that's happened, JB. It's happened. There's people, they'll reach out to me, "Hey, yo, I saw you do a show about this beer."
Right.
Or I saw you taste this beer. And I went and bought a beer that was similar to it. Or
Right.
that exact beer. And they'll tell me, "Hey, I liked it," or "I didn't like it," or "Man, I'm so glad that you turned me on to this." So that's been really cool. So it's actually working to where people are being exposed to new things,
Right.
trying new things, being encouraged to try new things and open
Yeah.
up their mind. It's beer. Go figure.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I like too about craft beer is I've kind of gotten to know people in the industry, especially here locally. You know, there's always kind of been this negative connotation to beer, right? It's like this thing that, and rightfully so. I mean, some families, you know, there's been alcoholism involved and drunk driving and lives changed forever. And so I'm very sympathetic to that and empathetic, knowing people that their lives have been affected in a negative way. The thing I like about craft beer is that it's not about getting drunk.
Right.
It is about tasting, which you just talked about, and the conversation and environment that it goes with. So talk a little bit about what's the difference between, you know, downing beers and tasting craft beer. What is that all about?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you, there's people in the craft beer community who down some beers, no doubt about that. But the difference is kind of almost self-explanatory. So I'm drinking a beer. I'm not really thinking about what it smells like, what it feels like in my mouth. You know what the front end presents, what the middle presents, what the back end finish of it entails. So it's a process. Tasting is a process where you drink beer. Ooh, boy, this is cold and it's refreshing.
Right.
To whereas you're tasting beer and you're, oh man, smells like, tastes like, feels like. You know, when it goes down, you know what the whole experience. Tasting is the whole beer experience. And even when again, you know, when you're in a tap room or something like that, it even expands out to other people who are there. Say, oh man, you know, I see you tried that beer. How you like that? Oh man, they'll start talking about what they like about it. So it's the tasting and what it and just taking it a little bit deeper than, well, actually a lot deeper than just bam, ooh boy, that was good. It's, man, I can appreciate this beer. I can appreciate what the brewer intended for me to experience.
Well, I think that's kind of a perfect segue into something that I know that we want to do and, you know, help other people appreciate it. So let's go ahead and take a break, Columbus. And when we come back, we're going to be tasting beers.
Yes, sir.
And enjoying some local and state and national beers that are really good. So I appreciate you being on the show, AB.
Yeah.
And we will talk soon.
All right.
And we're back, Columbus. Thank you so much for watching the hashtag Celebrate Columbus show. We're here with Anthony Blair from Craft Picks.
Yeah.
And now we're going to be enjoying and tasting some beers. Anthony, what do you got for us?
Oh boy. Well, I brought a little bit of mixed bag here. Have some local beer, have some local beer, and some Michigan beer, because we got to represent Michigan. So we have first we have 450, the Super Nugget Brothers that we talked about before.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that one right there.
Awesome.
Which we have in glass right now.
Yep.
Then we have this Liftoff Galaxy Double Dry Hop from Daredevil, which is in Speedway.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, they do really good work with IPAs too. And then the highly acclaimed, only the best on the Celebrate Columbus show.
KBS.
The KBS, yes, that's from Founders in Michigan. That's
Nice.
that's a stout. So we have 2 IPAs and 1 stout.
Very cool. Well, what is an IPA?
India Pale Ale.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, India doesn't have anything to do with it. That's just what they call it. And
Okay.
I'm not really sure why they call it India Pale Ale, but that's what they call it, and it has nothing to do with India.
Okay.
So IPAs are a really hot style right now. People are drinking them like, oh man, it is the beer that most people are drinking right now. Now, cold weather, nice, roasty, toasty, bourbon barrel stout, man, really hits the spot. I mean, the weather warmed up, good grief. I thought it was going to be cold today. So, hey, but it'll still hit the spot. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Okay, awesome. So take me through
Yeah.
the Super Nugget Brothers.
Yeah, so the Super Nugget Brothers, I have to look at the label. I didn't memorize it, but double dry hop, double IPA. So double dry hop, double IPA. So there's an IPA, and there's a double IPA, then there's triple IPAs.
Okay.
And what makes it single, double, or triple is the ABV.
Okay.
So once you start getting into doubles, you're about 7, 8, 9% ABV. Once you start getting into the triples, you're getting 9, 10, 11% for an IPA. That's a big beer.
Right.
That's a big beer. I think this one is 7.4, something like that. 7.4, maybe close to 8. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but we'll just say about 8%.
Okay.
And so it's double dry hop. And so double dry hopping is when they put it in the fermenter or in the keg, they'll throw in another bunch of hops in there, and it's usually, it is done mostly for aroma and taste, kind of cut that bitter, because traditional IPAs, like the traditional old school West Coast style IPAs, super malty, super bitter.
I'm not a big fan of those.
Not a lot of people are, and that's why these beers are so popular. These double dry hops and these lupulin powder and all this that they're doing now. That's why these beers are so popular. These hazy, juicy IPAs, because they're not malty and bitter like the old school ones, and people really dig that mouthfeel and that taste. So yeah, real hot. So with the beer, what I like to do is...
Yeah, show me what to do here.
Yeah, so I'll take care of you, JB. I'll show you what's up. So, usually I'll sit down and, just smell it, just like, just set it on the table.
Okay, just sit on the table.
Yeah, just sit it on the table and just kind of wave your nose around it. You don't even... if you want to stick your nose into it, you can. But, put a little bit of distance in between it, because you want to see how strong, or experience how strong or how weak the nose is.
Okay.
So do I have to really get down into it, or can I just
I can get a little bit there.
Yeah, you get a little bit of aroma there, right? So then you can kind of get a little bit closer to your nose, wave it around a little bit, see what you get off of that, and then you can also, this is my favorite part, kind of swirling it around.
Yeah, whenever I watch your videos, you always talk about this Mo head, and I didn't know that was a good thing to have head on your beer. Why do you like that?
Man, hey, Mohead, y'all, I'm telling you,
I know why.
Because that's where all the aroma is.
Okay.
In that head. So all them bubbles, when they're popping and everything, it's just releasing aroma.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll remember that.
All over the place. Yeah. So I always tell people, man, make sure you get a head on your beer. One of my pet peeves, and I will tell you this for sure, one of my pet peeves is going to a bar. Granted, I get it. They're trying to give the consumer the most beer
Right.
for their money.
Yeah.
But there's a big part of the experience. I mean, if you're drinking beer, that's cool. Tasting beer, again, can't get those aromas that the head releases. So, a head, even if it's that big,
Right.
makes so much of a difference in the overall experience because you can smell what's coming
Okay.
out of those bubbles.
Okay.
Yeah. So I always say, hey, if there's no head on your beer, tell them you want a head on your beer.
Right.
Or, tell them to pour it a little light so that you can swirl it around and get a head going. And so
Okay.
once you get that head going,
All right, we got that going.
yeah, get that head going, then you can really get in there and get the smell. So
Okay.
any flavors jump out at you?
Oh,
Any
man.
aromas jump out at you?
To me, it's kind of citrusy.
Good. Look at JB. I'm gonna make this dude a beer taster before it's all said and done, y'all.
I just don't know what type of citrus. To me, it's kind of orangish, but that's what I get.
Okay.
And what do you get?
Okay, so I get citrus, get a little bit of tropical in there too.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing with these with the different hops. So the different hops impart different characteristics into
Okay.
it. So with some you'll get some citrus, some you'll get some floral, smells like flowers.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes you'll get it and it smell like oranges or papaya or mangoes. Sometimes it'll smell like grapefruits.
Okay.
So there's this almost like a flavor wheel
Yeah.
for beer.
Okay.
And so I use that a lot when I'm trying to build up my vocabulary and trying to describe how a beer, what it smells like and what it tastes like.
Right.
So you're not far off, JB.
Okay.
You smell citrus
All right.
right straight away, man.
Yeah.
So, you probably smell a little bit of that tropical fruit maybe now.
Yeah.
And maybe smell a little bit of floral, a little bit of flowery smell in there too.
Yeah.
And this is not really dank. One of the words they use is
Yeah.
dank.
What is that? I've heard of dank candy,
Yes.
but what does dank mean?
Dank. It's
Oh.
that musky,
Okay.
funky, piney, bitter
Okay.
aroma and smell, and people call it dank.
Okay.
Yeah, so people, seriously,
I
man.
know.
If you're out on the West Coast, they're like, man, they want them dank hops, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
That's what they
necessarily-
say.
Yeah, I don't really want the dank hops. I want
Right.
to know that they're in there, but I don't want them to overpower,
Okay.
my nose or
Okay.
my tongue. So you might be able to smell a little dankness in there, maybe
Okay.
it might smell a little earthy, might smell a little musty, a little musky.
Okay.
So then when you drink it,
Yeah. Oh, and you're swishing too.
you want to swish that around a little bit, kind of let it linger in your mouth and pay attention to, what's the first thing you get? How does it feel on your palate? Does it
Juicy.
feel- There you
It's
go.
juicy.
It's juicy. Exactly.
It's not like a normal beer, and my go-to normally is Zwanzig's Honey Wheat, as
Yeah,
you
I know
know.
you like that.
But this is pretty good.
Yes, it is. And see, that's why people like these types of IPAs because they're juicy. They're not malty.
It is kind of bitter on the end, though.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So notice how there's a progression of flavor.
Right.
So right up front, no question. Man, you're good at this, JB.
I barely ever get to really drink beer. I've been on a diet for a long time.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So you taste that juice. I mean, what's not to like about juice? Who doesn't like
Right.
juice, right?
Right.
So you caught that right up front. And then in that middle, I don't know if you caught like a little bit, maybe a sweetness in the middle.
I didn't get too much. I got more on
Okay.
the front and the back.
Okay, so then on the back, you get that, you probably get a little bitter finish
Right.
on the back.
Yeah.
Lingers around for a little bit. So that's usually the progression. And depending on the style of beer, those flavors would be different. So if it was a sour, it might be fruity and sweet on the front, but it might be in the middle kind of musky or might taste a little bit like wine. It might taste a little aged. It might taste a little stale. And then the back end might be a little bitter on the back.
Okay.
So again, depending on the different styles of beer, you'll go through that progression, but you'll have different aromas and taste sensations and palate sensations. Yeah.
Cool. And for those people who might like the Super Nugget Brothers, which reminds me a lot of Super Mario, right?
You think they did that on purpose?
I know they did it on purpose. The guys at 450 North, they're smart.
Yeah, definitely.
So where can people get that? Obviously it's 450 North, but is there anywhere else you can get it?
Bro, that is a can release only.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So it's pretty limited.
It's very limited. I mean, I brought my best for hashtag
appreciate
Celebrate
that.
Columbus
I
show, man.
appreciate
For
that.
real, I brought
Thank
the
you.
best. I mean, people have been after me about my remaining cans of that Super Nugget for weeks,
Wow.
and I brought it here.
I
So
appreciate it.
no problem, man. Happy to do it. That was a limited can release. Like I said, that was the week of, I think it was the week of New Year's. That week
Okay.
before New Year's, they released it, and so it's you can only get it at the brewery.
Oh, nice.
So they're not going to distribute it to any retail outlets. You go to the brewery and you get it there. And once the cans are gone, that's it until they brew it again, or
Wow.
you're lucky enough to get it on tap.
That's smart.
Yeah, man, it is smart, and that's the craft beer marketing. That's craft beer marketing 101. Can releases. All the major ones do it. All the big, popular, well-known big brands, East Coast, West Coast, all about the cans. And I remember when cans used to be, oh, you're drinking out of a can, you
Right.
know, you're a barbarian, you're
Right.
uncouth, you're drinking out of a can, But now, I mean, cans are where it's at right now. Not a lot of things come in bottles anymore, unless it's a usually a stout or a porter or something like that. Most of the IPAs and things that are coming out right now, they're in cans, and then they have fun labels, can art, so that makes it cool too. So we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this Liftoff Galaxy Double Dry Hop experimental
Nice.
IPA. Yeah. So Daredevil, they experiment with beer, and
Yeah.
a lot of brewers do, but they're intentional.
Kind of like a
and
mad scientist.
really like a mad scientist. So they've taken their base Liftoff IPA, which a lot of people in Indiana enjoy. I mean, you can find it at 4th Street, around here, around town. People like their base Liftoff. So
Okay.
they started to do some experimenting with their base Liftoff, and this is one of them, one
Cool.
of their experiments.
All right.
So you could, let me talk just real quick
Yeah.
about taste of when you actually drink it. And I forgot to mention before. So like I said, when you drink it, just let it sit. You don't have to
Okay.
just swallow it right away. Just let it sit in there, and let it, like I say, coat your tongue, and really try and pull out the flavors. And when you swallow, try to breathe out through your nose. They call it something-fication.
Okay.
Something-fication.
Okay.
But basically, when we have something in our mouth and then we breathe out of our nose, somehow or another that activates other sensors
Okay.
in our palate, because all this is connected.
Right.
So being able to
Okay.
drink that and then blowing that out the nose, it helps give you an extra layer of sensory perception with the beer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, all right.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
try to not get so close.
All right.
I'm not getting as much on the nose of this one.
Neither am I.
Okay. All right. So swirl
Yep. Swirling around a little bit.
a little bit.
Mo head, y'all.
Yeah. Okay.
Get your head going and dig
Yeah.
in there.
I'm getting a little bit of fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe it as much. It doesn't kind of stick out to me as much as the Super Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
But let's try it.
All right.
Definitely juicy.
Mm-hmm.
I get the juice.
Mm-hmm.
A little. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, would you say it's tropical, citrus, the juice that you're getting?
I would just be guessing. Honestly, I didn't get too much. But,
Okay. Juicy.
It's a little bit more bitter on the back.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But in my mouth is a little bit drier than the last experience.
Okay.
But that's the only. I'm trying to compare it to the Super Nuggets. and it's a little bit drier.
Sure. Well, you can't. I discourage you from comparing
Okay.
it to the one that we just had because this one is just straight up IPA.
Okay.
That one was a double.
Okay.
So it's not quite apples
Okay.
to apples.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what do you get, and what do you like about this one?
Well, like I said, I like for that nose. I like for the aroma to be stronger. Me personally, I like aromatic beers. I like
Yeah.
it when I open up the can. I'm like
Like-
woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like more? Okay.
Yeah, I like that. So I would like for it to be a little bit more aromatic.
Okay.
I get that juice on the front. Tastes a little tropical.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get that bitter on the back end. In the middle, it's a little sweet in the middle.
Okay.
That back end, that bitter is not like a dank bitter.
Okay.
But more it's more like a earthy, piney, almost herby
Okay.
kind of back end.
I could see the pine. What
Yeah.
you're talking about.
like that's very green. Just when I'm the bitter that I'm experiencing right now, I'm in my mind's eye, I'm looking at pine needles.
Okay.
You know, and you know what, you can describe a beer that way.
Yeah.
Man, you know, tastes like pine needles.
Yeah.
You know, tastes like pine cones. Man, I promise you, I don't know if you put this on the show or not.
I'm putting it on.
I promise you, this guy that I know, he drank a beer and he said it tasted like armpit. I'm like, how do you even know what armpit
I know.
tastes like? First of all, but this dude, he knows his beer. He really knows his beer. He's a beer judge and the whole thing. But
Okay.
yeah, armpit.
That probably I wouldn't want to describe a beer that way. It doesn't sound really good to me.
That's what I'm saying. But that's this guy.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah.
So that's Liftoff Galaxy.
Yep, that's
double
Liftoff.
dry hopped. And
Yep.
if people want to get more information about Daredevil, where is that located? Up in.
Up in Speedway.
Okay,
Up in
great.
Speedway. Yep, they have a really nice tap room, very clean, modern, whatnot. They're open usually later on in the day. It's they have all their cans. Again, you can't get this at a retail outlet.
Okay.
Got to go to
Nice.
the brewery and get it. Yeah.
All right. Well, very cool. Well, I think we're on to our last beer now. So let's go ahead and go to the last one.
So our last beer that we have is the highly acclaimed KBS.
Which I thought was from Kentucky, but it's actually from Michigan.
Yeah, you know,
So
gotta
I'm sorry.
represent
I'm
Michigan.
sorry.
Hey, that's okay, man. That's okay, man.
All right.
Founders out of Michigan, yeah.
Nice.
So we'll pass that
I'm
over.
seeing barrel aged.
Yes. Behind sours. I do like sour beer. Behind sours, barrel aged beer is my favorite beer style.
I've heard that Upland they're getting into some sours, right? Or
Oh
who-
yeah, their sour game. They've been in the sour game for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, their pawpaws. They're most sought after.
Okay. I went to the
Sour.
fermentation celebration.
Okay, yeah.
In North Vernon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy Oaks.
We were. They had some stuff from Upland there.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, their pawpaw highly sought after. Highly sought after beers. So.
All right.
This is a barrel aged stout, so this is a big one. So I'm not
just
gonna
a
pour
little
you.
bit,
Yeah, I'm not gonna
just a
pour you a
little bit.
lot. I'm not gonna pour you a lot. You still have a
Dude,
day
that
to
is
get.
so dark.
Oh yes, isn't it lovely?
It kind of looks like coffee or chocolate.
Well, and imagine that. So you got that right.
I know
So,
nothing about stouts.
massive amount of coffee and chocolate.
Oh wow.
So you hit it, JB.
I'm gonna start smelling. Okay.
Oh, if you can't smell the nose on this or the head on this one.
I can't.
Oh, really?
I
Oh,
can't
boy.
at the beginning.
Oh boy, man.
I get a lot there.
I was gonna say, yeah, that has some aroma on it.
Man, like kind of like Hershey chocolate. I got.
You get any coffee notes?
Yep, I'm getting a little bit of Luca B coffee up in here.
Luca B coffee.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
From Michigan.
From Michigan, represent to all my Mitten family out there.
You know, I've never had really stouts
Okay.
ever. And at first I was like, I do not know if I'm going to enjoy this because I've heard it's thicker,
Oh, yeah.
but it's pretty good.
Oh, man. Highly acclaimed, highly sought after.
And the way that you have told me, like, and kind of taught me how to taste it, I get a lot more because normally I would just, drink it like I was drinking a soft drink or a water. That's pretty good.
Right on, JV. That's great. I'm glad you like it. One of my favorite styles. Obviously, it's from Michigan, so represent Michigan. But I'll tell you what, Mikey makes a barrel aged stout that's really,
That's Swanzig's?
really, yes, that's really, really good. Same style, bourbon barrel, coffee, that whole thing, man.
I got that bourbon type of taste. So, I mean, it's barrel aged, so that's bourbon barrel, right?
Correct. Yes.
I know it seems like, with craft beer that bourbon's kind of picking up,
Oh boy.
especially locally here in Columbus. I think there's the Columbus Philharmonics got that.
Oh yeah, the Bourbon Fest. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty good, man.
You like that? Great,
Yeah.
JV. So you pick up the coffee and the chocolate.
I did. I got and this seems like for me, you'd probably just have one.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to because it's pretty thick.
Yes.
But I could see maybe having one or two of these. For me, I try to have a 2 beer rule.
Yes, that's a good rule to abide by.
And but also the liftoff, I would say that's kind of in between for me. But my favorite was Super Nugget Brothers.
Right on.
But I know that depending on the occasion, I mean, you can even see. Look at that; it's thick.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
It's like, man. So, man, I really appreciate you, coming on the hashtag Celebrate Columbus show and teaching us about beer. I know there's several people here in Columbus that love craft beer especially, and I know that there's going to be some awesome events this year.
Yes.
In the Columbus area with the Corn Maze Beer Fest.
That's right. Yeah.
450
Corn Maze,
North,
yeah.
as well as Fermentation Celebration
Yep,
in
the
North
Firm,
Vernon.
yep.
Yeah, the Firm.
The Firm.
And then also Columbus Craft Beer Fest. I mean,
Yes.
it seems like Columbus is really, starting to embrace that craft beer, and they've been doing it for a while, but it's starting to become known.
Yes. Yes, it is. And good for Columbus too, to embrace this. The craft beer industry has done nothing but accelerate and grow. And I think for Columbus to welcome and embrace that into the community is a good thing.
And I would assume, just from seeing the demographics that came to those events, I've been to each of those events, it draws a very diverse crowd with both age, gender, ethnicity, socioeconomic background. I mean, it seems like craft beer is one of those beers that brings people together.
It is, but I will say though, JB, if you ever notice though, and one of the things you asked earlier about craft picks, one of the things that really kept me moving along in that is the diversity in craft beer. Now I'll go to different fests and things like that. I mean, I don't see a lot of black people at beer fests.
Right.
I mean, I don't. I go to these tap rooms, I travel around. I don't see a lot of black people there. I'm usually only dude there. That can release at 450, only black dude there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel as if part of what Craft Picks can do is help to diversify the craft beer community, right?
Yeah.
Hey, more women, more Hindu, more Asian, more African American. Why not? I know friends in all those ethnic groups that drink beer.
Yep.
Why not craft beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Dude, for real, man. Hey, man. Rainbow Coalition up in here, man.
That's right.
I try to get it going.
Well, I think that's what I appreciate most about you is just as a person, but also with what you're doing with Craft Picks is you're just trying to bring people together.
Yeah, man.
And so with that in mind, as we close this episode, if people want to learn more about you and Craft Picks, where's the best place for them to come and check you out?
Oh, man. Facebook, Instagram for sure.
Just at Craft Picks or
Yeah, at Craft Picks on Facebook is Craft Picks TV.
Okay.
Well, we do have a website too, which is craftpicktv.com.
nice.
So yeah, we Facebook, Instagram, and the website. You know, those are great places for people to find us, find that logo merch. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, you brought me one, and you got one wearing today. People can purchase those as well.
Oh yeah, man.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, man. That glassware. Yeah. So
That's really
Yeah.
cool. I appreciate you being on the show and just all that you do for Columbus, both with your volunteer work, but also with Craft Picks.
Right on, man. I appreciate being here, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
You got
This
it.
is great.
This is like fist bump number 5 on the show.
Hey, but that's how we get down, though. That's how we get down, man. I hug, I fist bump, I high
Yep.
five, man. That's how.
Yeah,
That's how I do it, man.
you should see normal conversations with us. There's a lot more.
Y'all shouldn't actually.
Well, Columbus, thank you so much for watching this special edition of the Hashtag Celebrate Columbus show. You've got to check out Anthony Blair and Craft Picks TV.
Yeah.
Make sure to watch that and learn more about craft beer, especially in Columbus. We got a
Absolutely.
really special thing going on, and we want to continue to celebrate that and help bring more people together. We'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching the Hashtag Celebrate Columbus show.